Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Vec, and I'm going to do my weekly update for July 21st, 2024. So, I am tired this morning because I got up early and did the blackberry vines in my backyard. I didn't do all of them. I just did the ones closer to the house and to where I walk to go water the hydrangeas in the front of the yard. So I did some on the side yard. I did some against the fence, the new fence. So I wanted to go take care of that. And then I took care of the stuff in my, where I walk. Anyway, there's still a lot to do. My brother hurt his toe, unfortunately, at work the other day. So he was supposed to come out. I was going to have him come out and help me and do part of his yard. And then I do, we split it up or whatever, or at least get a good portion of it done. But yeah, he's in too much pain. So that's going to have to wait the other side of the yard. But I got what I needed to get done, at least to get us through a little bit longer. But one of these, next weekend, maybe we might have to do another early morning cutting of the blackberry vines. Anyway, sorry. So that was my quick update. Yesterday, I got to go to a winery with my parents. We had been there before, the Marissa winery in Hood River. Really good light red wines. I mean, they have a couple whites, but it was mostly like light reds and really good. I was actually pretty impressed with what they were, even though I don't usually like light. The lighter reds. I'm much more of the Zinfandel, Shiraz, cab kind of side. So it was really kind of nice to try some other ones. And I found one that I really liked. So it was a good time yesterday. Rest of the week has just been work. It was just work. And it was fine. Like, again, it's just our heat has been, mostly in the 80s this week. And then it was like, I don't know, it was hot yesterday. I don't remember. I don't even know what it was. I don't know if I think it hit 90s yesterday. And then we're supposed to go down back into the 80s, high 70s. But it was raining this morning just a little bit. So that was kind of weird. I had to go out and check my car. My brother texted me and said, "Hey, are your windows up on your car?" Luckily, I had put them up the last time I was in the car. So that worked out. So anyway, what am I trying to say? So I think that's it. That was my little intro. Sorry. Cooper is here with me. They don't like to let me sleep in anymore, so that's why I got up early to do the blackberry vines. Anyway, so my reading week was interesting this week in the way that I read stuff, but I always feel like I didn't read enough. But I also think I think it's because I was doing my audio booking a little differently this week due to a buddy read, which it's just my brain didn't want to do multiple audiobooks this week, or didn't want to be switching back and forth. So we'll see how that goes, because I have a plan for next week, but I don't know if it's going to work now because of how this week went. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, so we're going to talk about the books that I finished, the ones I'm in the middle of, and what I think I'm going to read in the next week. But first, let's start off with the DNF. So back in April, I did read The Vampire by John Polidori. I read this because I read about his character reimagined in the Dr. Greta Helsing series by Vivian Shaw. And I really enjoyed his character, and I knew it was different because she pulls classic undead or vampires from classic books and then changes them to when in the modern, like they say that the people who wrote about them lied about them or whatever. So it was just a little, like about 30 pages short story, and I read that back in April, and I planned to read this collection, which is Other Tales of the Macabre. But to be honest, I tried to read the first 3 stories, there was like 13 other stories other than The Vampire. This month I was hoping to maybe read one a day, and the first 3 days I tried this week, I DNF'd all 3 stories. I just don't care for the writing style of sometimes with the way some of the Gothics were written back then. Novels I seem to get on better, but short stories, there's just not enough, and it's too narrative. There's not much dialogue at all, like it's very minimal, and it's just pretty much telling me a story, which is not really what I want. I want you to show me the story. I want to feel the story. I want to hear the characters talk. And I didn't find any of those interesting. So I've given up on this collection. So I went back in on my Goodreads and Storygraph and just put in The Vampire and the dates for back in April when I read it. So technically it changes some of my stats, but I didn't want to read this whole thing. I'm not going to get rid of this copy just because I like it, but it also has the vampire in it in case I want to go back and read it at some point. At least not now, right now. There's no reason. I don't get rid of classics very often unless I detest them. I just didn't like the short stories else here, and I'm not a big short story fan. So it's not really, like, it wasn't a surprise. I was hoping to read a few of them and find some other authors, but I didn't like any of the ones that I tried. And I was like, okay, I'm done. I've tried 3 of them and I don't want to do any more. So that's the only one I DNF'd this week. So, I did finish a few books. So, first thing I finished was Ambush or Adore by Gail Carriger. I finished this on Monday, I believe. Why do I feel like I'm missing a book? No, I think that's right. Yeah. Sorry, I have a couple ebooks I have to talk about. But this one I had finished. This is the very last of the Gail Carriger books that is in the Parasol Protectorate world. This is in the Delightfully Deadly novellas series, which follows some of the girls much later in their lives from the Finishing School series. So if you read the Finishing School series, this one is, oh, Agatha. Sorry, my brain just went out of, it's like, and, I really enjoyed the first 2. I'd read those 2 closer to when they came out because I was that far into the series, because they're intermixed. Their dates are different. Then this one's like the end of the series, like the latest book in all the books. Because I just finished the Custard Protocol series, and then and so then I had this one was my very last book. So and this is most of these are Victorian, steampunk, urban fantasies with, vampires and werewolves and some other things. And so, and again, I've read all the books now. This was the very last one. So I finished a series, which is great. I was excited because I finished a couple series got caught up on a couple series this month. So this is another one I've actually completed. So I do have another series of hers that I need to go back and finish. That is a shifter one that is modern day, but I will get to that. But right now, this one was not my favorite at all. Actually, this is probably my least favorite of the whole Parasol Protectorate books. And it's not, and it's not because I waited to read this, because I had to finish the other books. And I would recommend that you definitely read Custard Protocol before you get to this book, if you want to get some of the Easter eggs. If you only are interested in the Finishing School series and those characters, then this kind of does a wrap up of kind of the whole series, like, because it does a lot of flashbacks of Agatha and her, and Pillover, who is one of the characters from the Finishing School, and their, love story and stuff. And it was a very interesting book put together, just it didn't work for me. And it made me, and again, Agatha was not a character I felt as much sympathy for as I wanted to in a lot of her decisions. Pillover was just, I felt so sad for him most of the time. It was mostly for him that my heart ached. I think Agatha made some wrong choices, I think, but that's her choice. I mean, again, it is written in a really good way. Like, it definitely talks about some things and decisions. And again, this is in the Victorian age, and she is kind of a rebel in a lot of ways. All the girls from the Finishing School are. But there's little cameos of the people that we knew from that, and we get to hear a little bit about stuff from the Parasol Protector and a little bit from a Custard Protocol. So there are things in here, like it's a lot of Easter eggs for the whole series. It definitely is the end book at this point for this series. And it wrapped it up kind of like that. I was hoping to enjoy it more than I did. So, but overall though, again, I really enjoyed all the series that is connected in this world. And now I have completed everything. And I feel pretty good about that. It took me too long. I mean, I should have finished this a few years ago, but I finally, I finally have finished all the stuff in that series. So, as I said, it is one of my favorites overall world so series altogether. So I really like that. So after I finished that, I had some, I finally decided to read Juice Like Wounds by Shawnee McGuire, which is the Wayward Children 4.5 novella or short story. So this is only, I think it's only like 30 pages. 32 pages. So this is a Lundy short story within the Wayward Children series, and I for years couldn't find this. I didn't realize it was on one of the websites. I don't know if it's Tor's website. It's one of the, I had to Google it to find a link to get to the story. But I finally did. I think it's on Reactor. I think it's reactor.com. I'm not positive, but I think it's hard to do with Tor. But again, this is part of the Wayward Children series. So this is following Lundy, who has book 4 in An Absent Dream. And this comes after it. And I guess, as I said, this was written after that. And Lundy's book is one of my least favorite due to a way the book was written, in the way it would talk about her about to go on an adventure and then we never got the adventure. This is one of the adventures. So that made me feel a little better because I really disliked the way In An Absent Dream was structured. Again, two things in a row. I don't, structuring is an issue, but I really enjoyed this to a certain extent. It is really short. It is, again, very much Wayward Children, the way it's written, and a little dark in what happens. I was kind of surprised at how it went. It kind of gives you a hint of what's going to happen, but not what happens. I mean, so it was really short. I don't think it's necessary to read it for the series, but I was trying to, again, complete series. So technically now I am fully caught up on the Wayward Children series. I have read all the novella, all the little extra short stories, as well as all the novellas that have been released. So another series that I am caught up on. So that makes me feel pretty good about that. As I said, this month is just happens to be catching up and finishing series, which is great. I did then finish the illustrated letters of Jane Austen, which is selected and introduced by Penelope Hughes Hallett. So this is a gorgeous book. If you want a really pretty book, it's not super cheap, but it was really, I got it, a while ago, but it has the letters, and then it has a lot of pictures. It has a few, historical things it talks about. It has little introductions to certain time periods about what Jane was doing, and, and related to some of her novels, a little inner little clips of some of her novels. I think it was a really interesting collection. My problem is the editing was not perfect. It was actually one of the times the Tom Lafoy was called Tam Lafoy in like one paragraph. Like both times his name was mentioned, it was Tam, like T-A-M instead of Tom. And that stuff kind of drives me crazy. Anyway, so not the best editing altogether. I think it got better. Like I didn't have find as many issues later on. That was in the beginning, but there were a few. I do have this version of the Bronte letters, so I will probably read that this year to at least read both of these out of my TBR. So because I have not read the Brontes. I have a collection of Charlotte's letters, I think, somewhere in my classics. So I might read this version of theirs in Victober this year, and then maybe do a more deeper dive into her letters later, because I did read the Brontes earlier this year, so I want to kind of spread out how much Bronte stuff I do still this year, because I have some other books I want to read, but we'll see. I did get this one done, so I am glad, because that was something I meant to read last year and I didn't get to it. So again, and that was for Jane Austen July. So as I said, I've been participating in that for years. That is put on by Katie at Books and Things, Marissa at Blatantly Bookish, and Claudia at Spinster's Library. I will have them linked below. But I really enjoy doing Jane Austen July. So that was my something written by Jane Austen that wasn't one of her 6 novels. So it was her letters. So that I've gotten marked off. And then the last thing that I finished, Cooper, you're not helping me, is The Burning Witch, Book 3 by Delamock. I did just find out that the person who writes it is called Emile Nicoda. So, which is cool. But again, this is the pen name anyway. But I am so excited I completed this. I just love this series. This was by far a real, like, of the books, it was really good, of the books I've read recently. And it finishes up this part of the series, and I just adored it. The characters are just so much fun, but there's also some really heartbreaking moments. I mean, I did cry a couple of times in here. I laughed a lot of the way through this because there's just so much fun in here. And again, the ending got really spectacular with the end battle, and it definitely leaves it open for a lot more stuff in this world. I'm really excited because there's a couple characters I'm hoping she's going to go to next and follow their story and see what happens. And they left certain characters in certain positions that, because of the aftermath, that's kind of what happened. And the ending was just perfection on hilarity. It was hilarious. I love the end, the very, very end. It was just fun. But I really, really enjoyed this book overall and this series. So again, this is the second trilogy that is connected to The House Witch, which I would highly recommend if you want fantasy that has humor in it and also heart, and just growing cast of characters that you just want to see, make sure, you want to hold on to them and see if everything happens. Sorry, Truman's out there making noises in the other room. Anyway, I just adored this, and I'm so glad I read it. I'm so sad that now I'm caught up. Like, I've been like behind because I read most of The House Witch. I read The House Witch last year, and The Princess of Potential, which is one of the standalones standalone in the middle. But they're all connected. I would definitely read them all in order. So definitely start with The House Witch, Volume 1, or Book 1. And then The Burning Witch I read all this year because I had one book already, and then another one came out, and as I said, I read Book 2 in June, and just adored it. And then I couldn't wait. I had to read Book 3. So now I'm caught up. So another series I'm caught up on, but I have to wait for a book to be published in that one. So anyway, let's talk about the books that I'm in the middle of kind of quickly, because I'm not very far in any of them. So I did start an ebook one of the days because I was at work and I didn't have anything. So I started The Vampire Wants a Wife by Andy M. Long. This is the supernatural dating agency. So what this is this as well, I can't even remember their names because, again, I read it like on Monday. I don't remember. She is running a dating agency with her friend, and she gets an applicant who says he's a vampire. He's like 126 years old or something weird like that. And so she says she has to meet him because she's like, okay, I'll get rid of him that way. And then they meet to go over the questions, and then she just it's her learning about all the supernatural creatures in this small town, this small coastal town that she lives in, and she didn't know about. And it's kind of like there's multiple books in this paranormal romance, and this is just the first one, and they have chemistry, but she's still like, you're not really a vampire. And she's confused about certain things, so she's talking herself out of it. She's in the denial stage because I only got 60 pages in, and I think it's just over 200 pages, I think. So anyway, so that's going to be my backup on my phone. I have it on my phone, on my Kindle app. So if I am somewhere and I can have her read, I have that. I'll try to finish it by the end of the month, but I'm not sure how much I'll get read this month. But I do have that started. I did start A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. I've been wanting to read this since I got this last year, and I know now one book is out, second book is out, and the third book is coming out later this year. And I haven't let myself buy them because I hadn't read this one. So I got about 70 pages in on Friday. I didn't get much reading done because, again, I hung out with my parents yesterday a lot. So, 76 pages. Anyway, point is that this is really cute. We have Mariel, who so there's witches and things in the world, and demons and werewolves and stuff, and they're out, and they live in this town, Glimmer Falls, I think, something like that. And it's actually a place where all the ley lines, whatever you call it, they all connect there. So this town has a lot more, their supernatural contingency is higher than in other places in the world, but people know about them and everything. So there's this small town, and she is a witch that's much more geared towards nature, but her mother knows she has all this power from some prophecy, and then she's trying to make her become what she's not. So she's kind of battling her parents on what she wants to be, and she has trouble with summoning, and she summoned a demon by accident instead of flour from Italy. Anyway, or something like that. It was funny. Anyway, so now she's got this demon Oz. But Oz, he has a different name, but it's something the Destroyer, I'm sure. He is there to get her soul. So he is trying to bargain with her, and she's like, "No, I didn't mean to get you here, and I don't want to give you my soul, because it would give up her magic at the same time." So we have this witch and this demon who are in a fake dating relationship because her mother showed up, and she didn't want to tell her mom that she messed up, and so they're dating, and he's stuck in her. He has to stay around her while they try to figure stuff out. So, and he has his own issues. Something happened to him on his last job that everything is in jeopardy for him because of what happened, and he has to get her soul in order to kind of get his status back. So they have different reasons for stuff, but you can see that they are interested in each other. So we're starting on that. It's fun. It's just fun. I didn't get back to it yesterday because I was gone a lot and I worked on another Jane Austen thing. So anyway, so I will try to read more of that this week. I am almost done with my buddy read with Lindsey at Lindsey Reads. I will have her link down below. We are reading Ivanhoe by Sir Walter Scott. I had no idea what this book was really about when we started it. We only have the last day's reading to do today. I think I have like 70 pages or so. So we're almost done. And this book is not what I expected. I will maybe talk more about this next week after I'm done, because I want to see how it goes. This book again, I took it as Ivanhoe was, coming back from the Crusades, and he comes and fights in a tournament, and then he has this lady love, and things were going to go wrong, or things things with that. But this has become such a religious, there's religious tensions in here between the Templars, the Jews, and other Christians, and then we're talking about Prince John and Richard the Lionheart, who's coming back from the Crusades, and Prince John is trying to take over the nation, and and then there's kind of this little weaved in thing about Robin Hood's kind of theme, but not called that, but it's kind of loosely in there. And then there's there's all the battle scene that we just went through a little bit ago. It was like, whoa, what is going on? It's a lot more action, and it's talking about chivalry and a lot of other themes and stuff, but I didn't realize the religious aspect was going to be so big in this, especially in this last half. I mean, it was like the last section is just kind of off the wall, and you get kind of mad because they're not, people are so set in their ways, they won't listen to reason. It doesn't make sense what is going on. Anyway, so I'm not loving it. I don't expect to love it. It just, is in. I want to see how it ends. But I do think I will pick up another one at this point. I do actually have Waverly. I did pick it up at a library book sale, so I forgot I'd had that, and I just looked at it earlier today. I'm like, oh, I do have that. So I probably will try to read Waverly at some point, because I know that's another one of his famous ones. But this didn't go the way I thought it would, so I'm going to be interested to see how it ends and how I feel in the very end. But Lindsey and I have been messaging back. We're both like, we didn't know what we were getting into, but we're almost done. So that's good. So we'll get that done. And then the last of the ones I'm in the middle of that I'm actively reading is The World of Jane Austen by Nigel Nicholson. So this is my nonfiction, a book about Jane Austen for Jane Austen July. So this one I picked up last year, and I didn't realize it, but it's pretty cool. It's actually signed. I just bought it online from Powell's during some online sale, but it's been signed. So this is And Nigel Nicholson is the son of Vita Sackville West. So I already knew about him because I've read The Portrait of a Marriage, which is about Vita Sackville West and her husband, Harold Nicholson. And I've read stuff from Nigel's son, Adam Nicholson, about nature and stuff. So it's really interesting. This family is just, I've always, again, I want to read more Vita Sackville West. I still have a book on my cart of shame that I need to read, that I got partway through, and a couple others that I want to read. But anyway, so it's really interesting that he wrote a book about Jane Austen, which I found when I read the other book, and I said I found a used copy at Powell's, and then they sent it to me and it was signed. Anyway, so this is a book, mostly pictures, and well, there's a lot of description, but they're talking about all the houses, and like, again, this is a very good companion to go with Jane Austen at Home by Lucy Worsley, because that talks about all the places that she lived and stuff. But this actually shows like the pictures of houses in the areas where she lived. Like there was all this stuff about the, near Stevenson and all the, where she grew up, and all the towns that were close by where she went to balls and those homes. And then it talks about Bath, and then it talks about some of the stuff on the coast where she lived or visited. And it's just really interesting. Like, again, it's not perfect. Again, it's not telling her whole story, and it doesn't set out to do that. It set out to show what England, mostly in the countryside, looked like during Jane Austen's time. So I think it's really interesting. The pictures done by Stephen Collover are really good. It's really interesting to see the houses, and there's a lot of drawing of houses that have again been demolished. It's amazing how many have over the years, because again, it's over 200 years since she was around. So, it's kind of interesting. So anyway, I'm almost, I'm about, let's see, I'm at 125. So I have about 60 pages left of this, maybe about 50 pages actually. So I'm hoping to finish this today. So then that part of Jane Austen July is done. So that's all the stuff I'm like into right now. I do still want to get back to The Way of Kings and finish the first volume and try to finish the second part, so I can say I finished The Way of Kings, because I have not done this yet. So after Ivanhoe, I should be finishing that was the one I'm listening to on audio by Stephen Preble. So I'm listening to it as I read along. So this is an immersion read, which I needed it, because that's the only way I was going to get through this, because it pretty much puts me to sleep if I just physically read it. And then the audiobook, if I just listen to it, I don't catch everything. So it's to me, I've been doing immersion read, which has been working really well for that. Anyway, I kind of do that with The Way of Kings as well, because I'm trying to keep track of a lot of details, and I am tabbing as I go about things I think are going to be important. We'll see, because again, I've never finished this book. So I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to get back to this week and try to finish The Way of Kings, which is the first book in the Stormlight Archive. I've mentioned this so many times. Someday I'm going to finish that book. And then I'm also going to start, either today or tomorrow, I'm going to start The Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell. So this is like a biography from the 1700s. I don't remember what year he published in. Oh, it doesn't say right here. But I have 3 volumes that I found at a thrift store on a beach vacation a couple of years ago, and I've been meaning to read this. So again, if this turned, I have the audiobook also. I got it on the Audible sale in June, so I'm going to try to listen to this, and I'm going to try to see if I can listen to it without having to follow along. We'll have to see how it goes. The problem is that there's so many notes in here, because it has notes that Boswell put in, but it also has notes from a Miss Pirazzini or something, who was a friend of Samuel Johnson, who went through and made her own notations in the book. So I might have to also do this as an immersion read, and I want to do at least just the first volume in July. This is one of the books, one of the author biographies that I want to read this year. I've only read one so far, so I'm trying to get through the other ones in the second half of the year, and this one I need to start and Jane Austen, definitely read some stuff from Samuel Johnson over some of the stuff he did. So, and I don't remember if she mentioned him in one of her books. I can't remember if it was mentioned. Maybe it was in her letters. Anyway, so I know that there's a connection there to Jane Austen. So I do want to try to read something about Samuel Johnson, because I bought these and I really want to at least start them. So I'm going to, as I said, I think all the volumes are about 400 pages. Yeah, this one's like a little over like 460 pages. So I'm hoping to get at least I want to do at least the first volume this week, or before the end of the month. So we'll see how that goes. I might have to do that immersion read too, but I really want to finish The Way of Kings, so we'll see. And then I do, just really quickly, I do also have some manga out from the library that I need to get done this week because they're coming due. Some of them I actually already got them renewed, and I still need to read them. So I have more of The Masterful Cat is Depressed Again today. I have 3 volumes of that to read. I have The Evil Secret Society of Cats. I just think that's so cute. And then I have Imakoi by Ayako Hara. This one I've heard so much about during the Amazing Readathon that I was like, I got it from the library and I haven't tried it. But this is more of the high school romance ones, I think. So we'll see what happens on that one. I'm not sure. Anyway, I don't know what else I'm going to pick up. My mood is, I've been trying to think about stuff for August already, but I'm like, I haven't even finished what I need to read for July that I wanted to read. I keep putting off like the 7-Year Slip. I do want to read that, but I just didn't feel like it the other day when I almost started it. No, I don't feel like that today. So we'll see what happens. I don't know what I'm going to read. I really feel like I want to pick up another fantasy romance just for the fun of it. I'm still in a fantasy mood. And then I'm trying to throw in some other stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, so we're going to see how it goes this week. I mean, again, I still have, about 10 days of the month. So I have a lot of reading time, before I have to worry about August. I don't know why I'm worrying about that right now. I'm just going to pick up what I want to pick up. So mood-wise, I might not get to any of this stuff. And I'll be honest. I mean, I'm going to finish Ivanhoe today. Don't get me wrong. That's happening. And The World of Jane Austen. Those two are probably the 2 things I'm going to finish today. And then after that, I don't know what I'm going to feel like. I could pick up all these ones, or I could pick up something else on my shelf that is just calling to me, because there are, as I said, a few fantasy romance books, the first books in the series that I really want to pick up. And I'm like, do I really want to start another series? I have finished 3 or caught up on 3 this month. We'll see. We'll see. I'm just not sure. So anyway, that's it. Hopefully we'll have a video out this week about my goals check-in. I have tried to film that several times and it has not gone well. So we're going to see how today is. Of course, the weather is starting. This rain all out of the blue is kind of weird. So my lighting has completely changed. So I'm sorry about that. And we'll see what happens. I'm hoping to get the goal check-in video up though this week. We'll see what happens. Anyway, Cooper and I will see you later. Bye. See, he's so cute.